Hey, 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 hey. It's Saturday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, whatever time you may watch this. I just want to talk about something that is very relevant that I have I had the I have the how can I say this? I have watched this word and it really just had an impact on me. It convicted me, right? And I'm just went back this morning listening to it again because it was so good. It's just so the awareness of our emotions and how to understand them. And it's just I think a lot of us do not understand our emotions, how to process them, how to understand them, how to release them. So very often we suppress them, and we suppress them, they end up making us sick, end up making us just miserable. We ready to spaz out and hurt people and say mean things because we've been storing so many things. And trauma changes the way DNA is passed in our body. So there's things that that could have been passed down to us, and we don't even realize the stuff that's going on within us, right? So I was listening to this word the other day, and it's called damaged but not destroyed. Damaged but not destroyed. And so I want to talk about emotions and feelings this morning. You're allowed to express your pain. Your emotions are valid. I want you to know that. You're allowed to express your pain. Your emotions are valid. Emotion is not a thought product. It's a bodily experience. Emotions are bodily experiences, okay? And emotions precedes thoughts. So, on this word, Dr. Anita Phillips was talking about how we are the garden, right? Our heart is the garden, and your left hand is the east of your body, right? God planted a garden in the east. That's your heart, right? Your heart is here. When we are afraid, our bodies change, right? When we are afraid, our bodies change. Here are 5 things that causes thorny patches. These are 5 things that drain love. Okay, the first one is abandonment. Abandonment drains love from the soil and leaves fear in its presence. So your heart is the soil, right? Abandonment drains love from the soil and leaves fear. 1 John 4. When his love hits the soil, fear has to run. We talk about the trauma as what happened, and it's about the wounds that are left. We talk about the trauma, and the trauma is what happened, right? It's all about the wounds that are left. Abandonment makes it hard for us to give love purely and receive love. That's what abandonment does. It makes us hard to give love and receive love. And then number 2, the second one, loss. Loss is a trauma if it overwhelms your capacity to cope with it. Loss is a trauma if it overwhelms your capacity to cope with it. Loss drains us, makes it harder to receive love because it makes us believe we'll lose again. We'll lose love again. Okay? Loss drains us. It makes it harder to receive love because loss makes us believe we'll lose love again. Trauma, all right? Loss is a trauma if it overwhelms your capacity to cope with it. There are certain people that cannot cope with loss. They are not coping with loss well. They're not, okay? Then we have abuse. Power that injures. Injured by someone who misused their that misused their power over you. Injuries that traumatize you. Then we have rejection in relationships. The first thing we're ordained to grow, pulling grass out of the soil, unworthiness in your hearts. Okay? Rejection. Then we have maturing too early. I know about this one, maturing too early, having to handle things and being aware of things you have no power to affect. That is traumatic. Telling young kids things, telling your children, like dumping your problems on them, that is traumatic. They don't have the capacity to handle it. They don't have the capacity to help you. Okay? So that is also one of the 5 things that that causes thorny patches in your heart. It's one of the 5 things that drains love from you, okay? Having to mature too early, telling young people, here it is, maturing too early, having to handle things you don't have the power to affect can be traumatic. Never give a young person more information than they have the capacity to handle. So busy trying to know when the pain is coming, when you stay in pain, right? You're just stuck in pain. Sometimes when we're parents, right? Because I know that we kind of do this unconsciously. We tend to tell our kids what we're going through. They see what we're going through. We try to explain it to them. They're not mature enough to have the capacity to be able to understand or handle that, right? That's traumatic. That's traumatic. Your kids should not know certain things that's going on in your life. And I know you want to talk to somebody, but they don't have the capacity to handle that. And I'm telling you, growing up, I seen so much stuff. And I could not do anything about it. And that was traumatic. Seeing my mother in abusive relationships, that was traumatic. I couldn't do anything. So I grew up, I'm not going to stay with nobody. I'm going to make sure I got my own place because ain't nobody going to put me out. And as soon as somebody put their hand on me, they got to go. Right? That second part didn't happen. That second part didn't happen because that was my thought of love. I thought that was love. A person ain't abusing you, ain't just mistreating you, cussing you out. I thought that was love because that's what I saw, right? The kids don't have the capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. They don't. And they have to grow up way earlier than they should, right? There's certain conversations kids should not be a part of. They should not witness. They shouldn't be in these conversations. They shouldn't know this stuff about you. Listen to kids talk. I'm talking about young ones. Like, how do you know these words? Like, where you get this stuff from? Just in the wrong conversations, hearing too much, seeing too much, too early. It's important. That's traumatic. Maturing too early. You got to be careful oversharing your traumatic experience with too much information. You can protect them without traumatizing them. Be careful oversharing your traumatic experience with too much information. Stop giving young people more information than they have the capacity to respond. If they have no power to respond to the trauma you inform them about, they will be shaken and feel unsafe in the world. And that is trauma. The number one parenting fail is pride. The number one parenting fail is pride. And the number 5 is shame. Okay, so these are 5 things that drain love from your soil, and your soil is your heart. We have to do the heart work. All right, we have to do the heart work. That's where it starts, because out of the heart flows the issues of life. You want to know how a person is? Listen to what they say. Listen to what comes out of their heart. People are hurting. People are going through so much. And they don't have anybody to talk to, right? You got to seek support you got to seek support. That's like, this is five reasons why you ought to see a counselor or a therapist or a coach. I just gave you the 5 reasons. Abandonment. Let me run it back. Abandonment. Loss. Loss is trauma if it overwhelms your capacity to cope. We've experienced so many losses. So many people have transitioned in our lives. And it's going to keep happening. It's not going to stop, okay? Abuse. And then we have rejection and maturing too early. That maturing too early took me out because I was like, man, listen, I didn't know what I didn't know. I did not know what I didn't know. We don't know these things, but now that we know this, right, we can do it differently. I'm sorry I put this stuff on your shoulder as a young child, as a young adult. They don't have the capacity for it. Think about us. There are things that we don't have the capacity for. So imagine the hell that we're going through, right? And our children are witnessing this stuff. Witnessing, and they can't do anything about it. It was traumatic seeing my mother get abused, and I couldn't do anything about it. It was traumatic, and I couldn't do anything about it. Okay, let me go forward. All right, so it's okay to apologize to your kids. Trying so hard to not feel and we try so hard not to feel. I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel. We get high, we get drunk, we do all these things because we don't want to feel, because we don't know what to do with the feelings, right? We've been taught. Some of us have been taught to suppress it. Don't cry. Don't do all that crying. Why are you doing all that crying? Never do. It's just, no, you're supposed to. It's okay to cry. Your emotions are valid. Your feelings are valid. Okay? Release. We have to release that. We have to release that the oxy, what's it? Oxy, I can't pronounce the word, but it gives you, like, these are things that we need, okay? Things that's going to help you. Non-sexual touch, right? Hugging for 20 seconds. This helps release the oxytocin. I want to say oxy. I might be saying it wrong, but these are things that help release these things that we need in our lives, right? So, singing together. Think about it in church. When you singing, I don't know about it, when you in church, you just singing, you feel good, right? Going through a divorce, wife didn't want to change, so I'm so hurt and financially in a mess, and I'm scared. Here's the thing about that. We cannot make people change. We cannot. I realize that I cannot change another person. That person has to want to change. We can't change another person. And I'm sorry that you are going through that. But just know that it is just a storm and you're going to make it on the other side. Okay? And know that going into any relationship, you cannot change another person. It is hard as hell trying to change ourselves. So imagine trying to change another person. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. Believe it, okay? And a lot of times these relationships are just mirroring back to us what we don't see about ourselves. Okay? That's what I had to realize. You're welcome. Look at here. You have to keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep praying. I am praying for you. It is going to be okay. I'm telling you it is. He'll never leave you, never forsake you. He is in it with you always. Okay? Thou art with me. He is with you. Let's see. Dancing together, laughing together, looking into each other, looking into the eyes of someone you care about. It's okay for us to see each other, to look at each other in each other's eyes for 30 seconds. Our connection with others is so superficial. This may feel uncomfortable. I know it may feel uncomfortable staring at somebody in their eyes for 20 seconds, right? We need the connection though. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel seen. And that's one of the things that we desire. We don't say it, but we want to be seen. Like, I see you. I hear you. What I heard you say, you're going through a hard time right now. And I'm here to tell you that it is going to be okay. I know people that have went through divorce, made it out on the other side, have remarried, and are happy with themselves, not another person, because another person just complements your completeness. You're two singles, right? You get together. You're still two individual persons, two individual people. Okay? So just hang in there. It is going to be okay. I see you. I hear you. All right? What else? The soil of your life is your heart, and your heart affects how things grow. The soil of your life is your heart, and your heart affects how things grow. I don't fear my feelings. I let the tears keep the soil from flooding, right? When the tears come up, I let them come up. And if somebody feels uncomfortable about my tears, then that's on them. That ain't on me. For so long, I was taught to suppress them. So if it comes up, it got to come out. It's coming out for a reason. And sometimes I don't even know, like, why am I even crying? I hear something or see something, and those emotions, they got to come out. Whether that's anger, fear, regret, all that stuff got to come out. It's going to come out. So let it come out. Tell somebody who you know loves you, your secret pain. Find that safe person, right? A lot of times we just live in torment because something has happened to us and we are afraid to tell somebody. So find someone that you love, a safe person that you can tell that they have the capacity to handle your pain. Not trying to fix it. I want you to hear what happened. This thing happened to me and I want to talk to you about it. I don't want you to judge me. I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you to solve it. I just want you to hear what happened, right? Oh, how he loves us. God loves us. He does. I pray that you are delivered from the fear of feeling, okay? Father, heal our hearts from the inside out. We got to do that hard work. It all starts with that hard work. I'm telling you, because this right here shows up in the world. It's how we show up in the world, about how we talk to each other, how we treat one another, okay? It all shows up. That's why you got to do the hard work. That's why you got to get the help that you need, okay? If you give him your heart, he will change your habits. And your habits is what's going on in your heart. If you give him your heart, he'll change your habits, because your habits is what's going on in your heart. That's it. That is it. Y'all want to share? I went through this a little fast this morning, but let's see. What else? What other notes I have? The ground has changed. Thorns may have been developed. Also weeds. If we have weeds, we need to check our ground. The ground is our heart. Okay? Some of our hearts have weeds, right? We got to check, where are the weeds? I know that we all may have weeds. So that's why we have to do the hard work. We have to do the maintenance. You must work on healing your heart. Your heart is fertile for the weeds, okay? Our emotions are not unholy. You must work on healing your heart. Your heart is fertile for the weeds. Our emotions are not unholy. We have to do the hard work. And a lot of times the work that we are doing is for something that was passed down, because trauma changes the way DNA is passed down. So if my mother is pregnant with me and she's going through all this stuff and she's pregnant with me, right? She gives birth to me. Now I have inherited this trauma, right? A lot of stuff that we have is not even our stuff, but it's up to us to heal it. We cannot keep beating them up for what they did or what they didn't do, right? In the past, they didn't have the capacity to do it. They didn't even know they didn't have it, right? So now it's up to us to give ourselves those things that we didn't get, right? It's not your fault. The trauma is not, it's not your fault, but it's your fault to get your healing. It's up to you to get your healing. It all starts with us. It all starts with us. So let me go in the book. I'm going to go in the book a little bit, because in the book that I'm going to be referring to is The Garden Within. So this came from Dr. Anita Phillips, who happens to be a pastor, and she's a trauma therapist, and she has a book called The Garden Within. So now I'm going into the book with some highlights of some notes about emotions, because I really want you to understand this emotional piece, because it's everything. All right. So emotions are not the enemy; rather, they're an essential and inherent aspect of the human experience. Understanding emotions' nature. All right. Emotions should not be feared or suppressed, regardless of whether they are happy or sad or angry or fearful. Any other type of emotion. They are the innate reactions of our thoughts and our hearts to the occasions and encounters we've had in our life. Our internal compass, our emotions, lead us through the difficulties of life. Emotions are our psychological reactions to the diverse stimuli, just as we feel bodily sensations like hunger and exhaustion. Okay? The impact of society on our emotional perception. Society frequently has a big impact on how we perceive feelings. We are inundated with messages from the early age that imply emotions should be suppressed and disguised or even rejected. When we are urged to tighten up or stop crying, these are forms. Chasten the form between how we truly feel and how we think we ought to feel. Right. So many times people have told us, stop crying, don't do this and don't do that, because somebody has told them that. They don't even know why they're telling you that. They probably don't even know they're telling you that. They don't even know why they're telling you that, all right? The effects of suppression of emotions. So we unintentionally bury our emotions inside of us when we suppress or mistrust them. This emotional suppression over time can result in a variety of problems such as persistent tension, worry, and even physical disease. It's comparable to trying to control a strong river. If we block it up, the pressure increases until it eventually manages to escape, maybe causing harm in the process. All right? This is what happens when you suppress those emotions. So I'm going to give you some it's called we're going to explore the emotional landscape. All right? Locate a peaceful area where you won't be interrupted and start there. To calm down and focus on your consciousness of the present moment. Take a few deep breaths. Write down a list of typical feelings such as joy, anger, sadness, and fear in a journal or on a piece of paper. List any associations or assumptions you may have about the emotions next to it. Do you have any recollections of any recollections or life events that are connected to these feelings? Think about your typical reaction to these feelings. Do you have any in particular that you tend to hide or avoid? So what emotions do you hide and avoid? Right? That's how people. I can't cry. I ain't trying not to cry. And I'm just like, why are you trying not to cry? Like, I don't understand that. Take time, take your time with this exercise and let your ideas and your emotions flow freely. That's a tongue twister. Onto the piece of paper. All right. Understand that your particular emotional landscape and creating the groundwork for embracing your feelings begin with practice. So we have to practice this because these are things that we probably have never done. We probably have never explored our emotions. We probably didn't think it was safe to even talk about our emotions, right? Who talks about that? Nobody talks about it. Don't cry. Why are you so upset? And then it's like, we just suppress. And that's why you see just people just going off, just doing crazy stuff. They have been packing down this stuff open. They don't know how to talk about it, right? They weren't taught how to have difficult, uncomfortable conversations. So therefore, they let things just overwhelm them until they explode, right? If you have a soda can, a soda bottle, and you shake that thing up, you keep it shaking up, what you think is going to happen? It is going to explode. That's what happens to us when we don't release those things out of us, right? We got to talk about it with safe people, in safe spaces. It is important to get it out, not to keep packing it down. Your emotions are valid, okay? I want to just reiterate that. Your emotions are valid. Thank you. And so then I was listening to the book as well on yesterday, and I wrote down some things that really just stood out for me. So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to end in a few minutes. I don't want to overwhelm y'all because I feel like I'll be overwhelming people telling them a bunch of information that may be too much. So if it's too much, just let me know, okay? I received that. Therapy is not for mentally ill people. It's for all people. We can benefit from therapy, all right? God is a healer, all right? What else I have in here? The soil of your heart is the birthplace of your mind, and the soil stabilizes the plants, and the plant stabilizes the soil. I didn't think my way into learning to speak. I felt my way there. How the mind merges from the way within. Spiritual bypassing. Spiritual bypassing is using spiritual ideas to avoid emotional pain. Reasons why. Unfinished business or being uncomfortable with other people's emotions, right? There are people who are not comfortable with your emotions. And when people are not comfortable with your emotions, they're not comfortable with theirs. Don't cry. Don't be getting upset. Don't do this. They'll tell you not to do that thing because they're not comfortable with it. All right. The simple act of being present in someone else's pain. The best thing to do when you don't know what to do is to listen. All right. When you're present in somebody else's pain, you don't have to fix it. Just listen. That's all you can do because you can't fix it. You can't solve anything. So listen. All right. If they're talking to you about their emotions and you are responding about your spirit, your spiritual bypassing their feelings. Meet them where they are. You got to meet people where they are. Good morning. You got to meet people where they are. They're trying to connect to you emotionally. So when someone comes to you and they're sharing their emotion, they're sharing their pain with you, they're trying to have an emotional connection with you. Listen, okay? Don't spiritually bypass them. Listen, all right? To renew the mind simply means to uproot an existing plant to grow a new one, all right? That's transformation. Transformation is the renewing of the mind, okay? When the plant is pulled up out of the ground, the soil is disrupted. Good morning, Tammy. And when new seeds are planted in the soil, we need faith and feelings to flow. And then we can renew our mind. There can't be renewing of the minds in isolation of the hearts. How you feel shapes the way you think. Our beliefs and our thoughts and our behaviors are inseparable. Let me say that again. How you feel shapes the way you think. Our beliefs and our thoughts and our behaviors are inseparable. Your mind is the fruit of your unequally bodied life. Change is emotionally painful. It is. Change is painful, I'm telling you. 80% of the information flows from the body up to the brain, and 20% of the information flows down from the brain. The heart and the brain are the fruit system. Okay? Pay attention to what you're feeling in your body at the moment. The blueprint of God's garden is embedded in you. Languishing is a form of sadness. Sometimes we get mad about being sad. Sadness often shows up in the body as heaviness around the heart and the shoulders, and it weighs us down. So a lot of times if I'm talking to a client and I ask them, okay, if they say they're sad or they got whatever, they're sad or angry or disgusted or whatever the case, I ask them, where do you feel this in your body? Where did you, if it had a feeling, if it had a sensation, where are you feeling it in your body? And so if they say it's around my heart or it's in my shoulders, that's where sadness normally stays, around the heart and the shoulders. That's where the sadness just sits. And a lot of times when we don't talk about things and we don't deal with things, it ends up making us sick. Do you know that? Like a lot of stuff is stuff that we just been holding on to, and it's literally taking a toll on your body because your body keeps scores. Your body just stores up this stuff. That's why we have to release it. Releasing is healing. Talking about it is healing. Like look at here. This what I do right here when I'm sharing. I share so much. I share so much because I care so much, and it helps me heal. I share things that I'm going through in real time. If I'm frustrated, if I'm overwhelmed, I share it. I share it because it is healing for me. Just talking about it and getting it out. So important to get it out. Nothing is growing in wayside soil. So you have chronic health issues. Our emotional well-being and our physical well-being are twined. Sometimes we're not aware of our feelings, and it's important to know that unattended emotional pain can affect our body. Unattended, let me say that again. Unattended emotional pain can affect our bodies, making ourselves sick. Sorrow, despair, depression can show up as appetite changes, fatigue, bone pain, and insomnia. Nevertheless, they can lead to more issues like heart disease. I am telling you, we can literally make ourselves sick by suppressing and holding on to this stuff. The sadness. Oh, it's so real. That's all I got. But I think I got one more chapter in this book and I'm done. The book is so good. I'm definitely going to be referring back to this book because it's so good and it's just so much information that's going to help so many people as well as myself. So just please get the help that you need because these things we are not supposed to be holding on to. We're not. Seek the help that you need. And you don't have to, just because you go to therapy don't mean there's nothing wrong with you. I think in the times that we're in right now, everybody needs to be going to therapy. Everybody needs to be having a counselor. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor because you can't be your best self by yourself. God put us all here together so we can do life together. You don't go as far as your dream. You go as far as your team, right? Jesus had the three, James, John, and Peter, right? You got to make sure you got the right people. Let me just say that. Make sure you got the right people. You need those people. For your purpose. You need them. We need each other. So let's learn to get along with each other. Okay? We don't have to like each other, but let's at least get along with each other. There's certain people that you need. There's certain people that I need. There's things that I don't know. So I need somebody else that knows that. There are things that I know that you don't know. So we need each other. Okay? And the name of the book is The Garden Within, and that's by Dr. Anita Phillips. And she also gave some more books when it comes to trauma therapy. So another book is called The Other Me by Candace Ewing, and then another book is called When Faith Meets Therapy, and then another book is called In the Road of Freedom. But the name of this book, excuse me, I did too much just now, I'm sorry. The name of this book is The Garden Within. It is by Dr. Anita Phillips. She's a trauma therapist. And I tell you, this book is just blowing my mind. And then I also see her speaking on different platforms. So whenever I see her speaking, I'm definitely tuning in, taking notes because it's really aligning in with the book that I'm currently reading. And it's just a wealth of information, a wealth of wisdom. And it's an area that I just think that we need more information on, right? And I'm also in school to be a counselor. So this stuff is just really just making a whole lot of sense to me. That's why I'm always talking about it, because it's something that we want to be aware of. We have to be aware of these things, because if you only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So make investments in yourself, right? If you cannot get a counselor, like they got so many books, like get the books and start listening to the books until you're able to get the help that you need. Okay? Because the times that we're in, we need that help. Because if not, what keeps us stuck is us. What keeps us stuck is that pain, that hurt, our hearts, right? We want to make sure that we do our hard work. Because when you do that hard work, man, your life will get a whole lot better. I promise you, it'll get better. I ain't going to say it's going to be easy, but it's going to get better. You'll be able to understand. You'll be able to understand yourself, and you'll be able to understand people, right? And you'll look at them with a different set of eyes. I wonder what happened to them. I wonder who hurt them, right? You look at them differently because you know that we're all going through something. We're all going and growing through something. We all are having a traumatic experience right now. The pandemic. The pandemic has changed everybody's lives. So many lives were lost. So many things have changed. We have to grieve, not just people, but things that we don't have anymore. Things that we can't do anymore. The person we used to be. We have to grieve those things. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to release those things. To keep living. You're still here because God has a purpose for your life. That's why you're still here. That is why you're still here. You're still here because He's not done. No matter what you're going through right now, it ain't over. You may be inside of the storm, but you're gonna make it on the other side of it. And there's gonna be another storm. You gotta keep on getting through it. Because the storms are not gonna stop. But once you get in Him and get in His word, the storms won't touch you. You will be in a storm and it won't even look like it. Okay? I'm telling you what I know. You'll be in a storm and it won't even look like it. It won't even affect you. Okay? Keep His word. Stay in the word. I stay in the word daily. That's how I stay sane. I stay sane because I eat and feed. That's it. That's it. And I talk and I share. I don't suppress things. If I feel something, I say how I feel. Right? I have conversations, those uncomfortable conversations. I have them. I exercise my no. I keep my boundaries. Right? The boundaries protect you and your relationships. It's not about the other person. They don't have to agree or accept your boundary. Your boundary is your boundary. My boundaries don't need approval. My no is my no. My yes is my yes. In these times that we're in, we have about 70-something days left in this year. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. Okay? If things didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out, guess what? You still got time. It's not over yet. Do not throw the towel in because it's not over yet. All right? That's all I got. I stopped by here to talk about these emotions and these feelings and let you know that we got to do our hard work. You got to do the hard work. All right? If you want your life to change, it all starts inside. I want the inside to match the outside. All right? We can focus on the outside all we want. We can do all the hair, makeup, weave, whatever. What are you doing? How are you investing on the inside? How is your soul? Your soul is your mind, your will, your emotions, your imaginations. How is your soul? Because you can look really good and be a hot mess inside. I'm telling you, that was me until it wasn't. So I just stopped to share this message with you. Get the book if you're interested in it. If not, I share all I can. I will share all I can. Every Saturday I'm here. I'm here sharing something that I'm learning in real time. And then throughout the week, I got videos and I'm popping in and out. So if you're not following my page, get into it or not. That is all I got. I just saw one of your videos and saw where you live. Great confirmation. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I share so much because I care so much. I wish I had a me in my life growing up telling me all this stuff that I had no idea about. All right. So you have to be the change that you want to see, right? I'm the change that I want to see. So I make sure that I show up because it's not just for me. This stuff that I'm learning, that I am experiencing is not just for me. It's for somebody else. So I'm just here to distribute. I'm a vessel, and I will continue to let God continue to use me, right? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. It ain't about me. It ain't about me because I could be doing anything. But I chose to do this because this is what I love. This is what fulfills me, right? Find that thing that you love doing, right? The thing that you would do for free. That's your purpose. Giving back to somebody else. Being of service to somebody else. Making somebody else's life better. That is purpose. All right. I'm complete for real. Y'all have an amazing Saturday on purpose. I got a paper to write today, between today and tomorrow, I'm gonna get it done. I gotta go for a walk to clear my head so I can get some downloads, because a 9-page paper is a lot. So I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna clear my mind, and I'm gonna do my write my paper. It's gonna be done by Sunday, Lord willing. God bless you and your family too. Thank you, Tammy. Y'all have an amazing day. All right. Until next time. Peace.